Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. What? Kids come back. What? Can you go? Can you go to bed? Go to bed. Go to bed.
I'm fairly sure we're live here, Daryl, aren't we?
Oh, he hasn't run his opener. He normally runs his opener.
Says live. It says we're live.
He's back.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Northern League Social. Sorry, let's just read this intro. I know I'm late, but kids today. You know when it's live, don't you? But let's crack on with the intro. Yes, that was a funny 2 minutes of starting, wasn't it? But that's what you do for live TV, isn't it?
Yep.
Anyway, welcome to the Northern League Social. My name is Lee, and of course, Daryl's back with us. Hello, Daryl. How are you?
Hello, Lee. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. And of course, the first guest we have already is with us, Greg from Dereham Town. How are you, Greg? You okay?
Hi, Lee. Hi, Daryl. How you doing? I'm very well, thank you.
Good. So, how's the season going for you then, Greg? How do you feel it's going so far?
Well, firstly, I told you last time I was on, you need to change that intro and get that goal that relegated us taken off there. We've given you plenty of goals this season to replace that footage with now.
Wait a minute. That's not even my... That wasn't mine. So I still blame Dan for that. Dan's not here tonight. He's working, but hopefully he'll see this. And he said to me that he was going to change it. Hasn't changed it yet. So I'll probably do my own one and then just put it up.
Well, the good news is our season's gone so well so far. We've had plenty of action and goals and good goals as well to talk about. We've had an excellent start to the season results-wise, bar one game, and we're doing very well in the FA Cup as well.
You certainly are. So let's just bring that up for you, if we can get it. There we go. Let's bring us back into the screen as well. So as you can see, can't see that. I need some glasses. So then, first game of the season, Brantham. How was that for you then, Greg? First game of the season.
That was It was quite nervous to start of the season for us. We didn't know anything about Brantham. We didn't know how good they were. We didn't know, how the squad was going to gel after we had a good pre-season. But it set a tone, really. The opening game. We were very professional. We looked to have goals coming from different positions. For instance, we had a centre half scoring in that game. We had the other goal came from Spooner in midfield. So and then I think Toasty set a really good tone actually in that game, where when we got a good handle on the game and we kept the other team quiet and literally saw the game out. Game management to manage the game through to a conclusion. And I think even though it was only 2 goals in the game, I think the style of football and the way we could manage even with a lead or when it took a little bit of time to score first, I think that sort of that gave the fans a lot of confidence.
That's good.
Professional management of the game, yeah.
That's good. So then you moved on to Sheringham with a 3-0 win. Of course, then you had the FA Cup game against Walsham the Willows.
Yes, the Sheringham game, I think it's worthwhile saying that we took nearly 50 fans, which is excellent for Step 5 to Sheringham. It was an excellent turnout. Sheringham were brilliant hosts, and despite the result and the results that Sheringham have had, I've got to say that they played a lot of good football in that game, and even though I think Dereham were worthy winners in the end, I think Sheringham really caused us a lot of problems, and that could have easily been a lot tighter.
And then the FA Cup game against Walsham and the Willows.
Yeah, not so close that one. It was actually 4-1 that game. Walsham. I think that was the first time we saw how deadly Jamie North could be. How important it is having someone who can use both feet equally comfortably, can really make a difference at this level of football, and he showed that, scoring. He was only a header away from a perfect hat-trick in the end.
Oh, there you go. And then, of course, it went tumbling down at Woodbridge by 4-1.
Yeah, but as experienced, I mean, the support base we have at Dereham have obviously seen a lot of football over the years, and we've got a lot of ex-players in the fan club as well. I think that the takeaway from that was, if you count our pre-season and how successful it was, and the wins and the goals and the performances, and then you're thrown into the competition, the sharp end with cup games just before it. Bear in mind, we played a lot of Tuesdays and a lot of Fridays in the cups as well before that game.
Yeah.
Had a couple of injuries. I think we would have been naive as a fan base and a club, really, if we thought that, a long run like that could continue. So those things can happen. And I think rather than having a go at our own players and fans and management, and I think sometimes you just have to tip the hat at the opposition. They were excellent on the day, and they didn't give us a chance to get in the game. I think I spoke to Andy Eastoe during one of the player interviews just before it, and I think he said actually on the interview, we just took a little bit of while to get going, but Woodford was so good before we realised we needed to get going. Within half an hour we were 3-0 down, and the game's gone by then. So it just shows that there are teams in this league that can really punish you if you're not at it, and I think it actually is a blessing in disguise. I think the takeaway from everybody was we've learned a lesson there. I'm glad we learned it in a game that there was a tough game anyway, rather than throwing points away.
Then, of course, you bounced back at newcomers at Heacham as well. So another impressive performance after the 4-1 defeat on the Saturday.
Yeah, the Magpie Derby. So that's exactly what I was saying about the quick turnaround in fixtures. It worked a little bit against us potentially away at Woodbridge, although I don't want to make excuses. Woodbridge were excellent, and I think they're going to be a really tough side, a contender side in this league, based on the performance I saw. But the Heacham game, because it was a Tuesday straight after the Saturday, it gave the squad a real good opportunity to bounce straight back, and they certainly took that opportunity. If we'd had to wait, for the following Saturday or 10 days, which can happen sometimes in football seasons after a big disappointing defeat, it can dwell on footballers' minds and management's minds and fans' minds, can't it? So it was good to have an opportunity to get some form back and to score some goals and to demonstrate, and really impose ourselves on that one. Like with the Brantham game and a little bit about the Walsham game, we played a lot of game management. Toasty certainly looked like he was concentrating on managing the game out. Whereas at Heacham, he let the guys go a little bit more, I think, and let them be clinical and let them be a little bit ruthless. And I think it really worked out for him. I think it was an excellent decision, a really good display on the day from the team.
That's good news. And then, of course, the two games at Ipswich Wanderers in the FA Cup. Of course, the first game was 0-0, and of course, then you won the game on Tuesday night 2-1 after extra time.
Yeah, I think I said I can't cope about 100 times during extra time. The 0-0 game, firstly at Ipswich, was a really for a goalless draw. It was a really close, competitive football match to watch. That I think a lot of the fans and from both sides would have really enjoyed. There was good football from both sides. There was good attritional football, and it was fought hard as well, like we saw at the end with the red card for the Ipswich player, and the referee was kept busy, but it was a good competitive proper FA Cup Norfolk v Suffolk game of football. I think we were obviously happy to bring them back to Aldis Park for lots of reasons, but mostly I think the fan base were proud of the players for going to a Step 4 side who just won the league we're in, who've had a summer and a pre-season to make strengthening improvements for their promotion. And we went there and we kept a clean sheet, and and it was heartening. A lot of the Ipswich fans who kept us fans busy. You know, it was a good atmosphere, but it was there was a lot of exchanges in the ground as well, but good-hearted ones. I think a 0-0 draw was really fair on the day, and then we had the game at Aldis Park, which was just unbelievable. I think we were the better side, in my opinion. Over the 90 minutes, we deserved the equaliser. And then Robbie Sweeney, who's been a lot of fans' player of the season so far, although it's good that there's a lot of different opinions on that, because it just goes to show how strong the squad is. But he popped up with an amazing goal. He caught Ipswich cold a little bit straight after the break. So 2 goals in quick successions either side of the whistle, and then we went into later on, and during next time went into a good period of game management, and it was just nail biting. But I don't think a lot of us would change it.
Fair enough. Dave, you got anything to add to those 2 games? I know, did you go to the one on Tuesday night?
I went to the one on Tuesday. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there till the end, so I had to actually miss the second half of the extra time. But I was pleased to hear Dereham held on to it, so that was fantastic, and a trip to Ware in the next round.
Are you going to that one then?
Yes, I hope so.
Okay, so then we go over to tomorrow evening, the Walsh and the Willows again, but this time it's going to be a Vars Cup competition. How do you see that going next?
Hopefully going into the hat for the next round. I think any team that gets relegated from Step 4 into Step 5 should fancy them chances of having a good run in the FA Vars. For teams who hang around the middle of Step 4, the trophy, could be a tough competition to really progress in, because you're quite often one of the lower ranked sides in it. Contrast to the Vars, we should be, on paper, we're one of the higher ranked sides in it. So I think we, as a club, I think we will target a good run in this, and based on the result we had against Walsham, I think we go into that game as favourites based on our season so far. I can't see it any other way. But let's be clear, Walsham are a good side. I've watched the highlights of the game back on YouTube from when we beat them, and it was filmed from their fan base, obviously from their perspective of the goal they were attacking. There was a lot that our fan base probably missed during that game. A lot of they do play some quick, very slick one-touch football up front, and anyone at this level could be up for a cup game, and so they're not a team that we're taken lightly by any means. They're certainly in the fan base, we certainly respect some of the football they played against us last time, but I do fancy our chances going into it.
And are you going to that game as well, Greg?
Yeah, I'll definitely be there. I'll be there for as many games as possible. I'm also looking forward to the Ware game. I just about remember the way from when we played them in the league a few years ago.
That's all right. So are you expecting to win there as well?
So Ware's a completely different prospect. They've there's a couple of things that their ground has changed since we were last there. They now play on a plastic pitch, whereas before they played on it looked like quite an aging grass pitch before, and it wasn't really conducive to slick passing football. So maybe the style we play in now will possibly suit the plastic pitch, though. But you got to remember they're a well-established Step 4 side. You could say that it was a close game for a team that are hovering around the top of Step 5 against a team that are hovering, around or just been promoted into Step 4. The Ipswich game would be a close game, but make no mistake about Ware, they're a well-established Step 4 side, and that they will have well-established Step 4 players. So, and they're playing a tough part of the country. Hertfordshire and North London and the surrounding counties, that there's some good sides around there, and we know Scotfold, don't we? That's not a million miles from there. So they will be playing. They will be playing against tough sides in that area with a good base of players to pick from. Mm-hmm. That will be a tough game, but I'm sure Toasty will have them well looked at. They've had highlights of their last game on YouTube, so I'm sure our management team will have seen that. And we'll be prepared and we'll be ready, and we won't be pushovers either.
No, definitely. And of course, the last game we're going to talk about is the local rivals here, Fakenham Town, on the 5th of September. Are you looking forward to that one as well?
Well, if last season's anything to go by, I'm looking forward to doing a 15-minute drive from my house rather than a 4.5-hour one. So, I really like Fakenham as a club. I think their ground and their facilities are excellent. They've got people on their committee that Dereham committee and fans will know, and players that will know as well. And likewise, we've got Tom Coombs in goal, who is a Fakenham goalkeeper. Yes. So, it will be a rivalry, of course. Well, yeah, any local game that's only 15, 20 minutes drive from our ground to their ground is always going to be, well billed as a local game. But I'm sure Toasty and the lads and the management will see it as a game that we just have to win, and they'll approach it like that. But as fans, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to getting home before 11 o'clock anytime, compared to last season.
Well, I bet you will. Have you got anything to add, Daryl, on that?
I was just going to ask Greg about the sort of the atmosphere after games at Alders Park, because Toasty's done great work on the pitch, hasn't he? But he's also got everybody together, and the atmosphere in the clubhouse after the games is brilliant, isn't it? I think there's karaoke.
Yeah, it is. So all the players have been doing their initiation songs. They spin the wheel and they've gone through all the players now, so there's a spinning wheel with forfeits on it. We've had a couple of supporters up there now. Peter Dugdale and Keith did fantastic. Went and sung a song in front of everyone as well, and so did Sam as well. So it's a really inclusive atmosphere. Toasty showed a lot of promise and made a lot of promises about including the fans and trying to make our club a community club and try and reconnect with the local community and make Dereham Town not just a place to go and watch good football, which he provides, but to go and have a good time as well. And I think the work that the volunteers have done and the work that Toasty does behind the scenes, Daryl's right, it's a fantastic atmosphere on the ground at the moment. And I think that's reflected in Daryl, would you agree, it's reflected in the growing attendances as well. So it can't be bad. We're winning games. And even when we lost heavily away, people still turned up on a Tuesday night at Heacham, really good attendance, and they're rewarded with a really good performance and good entertainment afterwards. Yeah, there's a fantastic feeling around the club at the moment, and it'll take a lot to dampen it, I can tell you.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Perfect. So when are you doing the X Factor then, you two?
Well, we'll see if we can do a duet, shall we, Daryl? No one said anything, but I can't imagine it'll be long before we've got an entertainment rep. You'll know him quite well, Jordan Lake. He's not called an entertainment rep. I can't remember what he's called now, but social secretary, I think it is. So he'll I'm sure he'll start dragging members of the committee up to offer them a bit of karaoke. So I'll make sure I'm not sober at any games in case I get called up.
You'll be penciled into the next home game, both of you. I know.
Yeah. I've got a couple of go-to songs, but I won't give anything away.
All right. Well, you can always tell us later. Anyway, thanks very much. I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you very soon.
All right. Thanks for having me. Cheers, Daryl. I'll see you soon, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, bye.
Ta-da.
Okay, so that was Greg Bell from Dereham Town, and we've also got Scott Butler now is going to join us. Let's get Scott on.
They're queuing up.
Good evening, Scott. How are you?
Good evening. I'm very well. Yourselves?
Yeah, not too bad. It's nice to see you. Haven't seen you for a while.
No, I've been hiding away.
You have already, haven't you, for the year, haven't you? So, but how's it like? How's life at Kirkley and Pakefield now?
Settling in. It's very different to obviously my previous job. I think with expectations and the way it's all sort of set up. But yeah, it's, like I say, it's a new challenge. It's a completely different challenge, and it's something I'm enjoying doing at the moment.
Smashing. So how did the job come about anyway? Did you just get a call from the chairman and they said that?
Yeah, I got invited for a conversation at the club. Obviously, after winning it with Galston, and then leaving Galston obviously quite early in the season last year at step 4. I then sort of took the rest of the season off, if you like. Weren't sure if I was going to get back into it. I do. Well, I'm now doing 2 youth teams. I was in a youth team, my boys' teams at the time, and obviously the leaving of Galston, I think, shocked a lot of people, and sort of, it was probably more away from the football side of it that these things happened, and it was kind of like, well, after a Senior Cup win and a league success, was it something that I really wanted to get back into? Went for a meeting with Kirkley during the season. I had a few conversations with a few teams, but like I say, I just didn't feel that I wanted to return at that point.
Yeah.
And then after a conversation with the Kirkley sort of board and committee, it was something that interested me in a different way. I think, like I say, after having success in this league, it was more, if I get back into it, what do I want to try and get out of it? Kirkley is definitely more of a project. It's definitely more sort of challenging, if you like, in a different way. So the expectation of Galston was, we obviously went into a team that were bottom of the league, and it was like, right, how high can you get us? And it went obviously very well. Whereas Kirkley, no disrespect to them at all, but their budget's not massive. They've always been sort of lingering around, sort of more bottom mid-table. So it was kind of like, right, well, actually, this is what I've done in this league already, but what can I do now different to maybe sort of prove myself a bit more? You say prove yourself, like I say, there's not going to be many that kind of do what we've done at Galston, but it's a different challenge where I can go, well, actually, this is where I went in at Kirkley, and this is where we now are. So yeah, it's a challenge, and I'm not saying it's going to be a successful run for me. There's no gimmies in football, but that's kind of my aim, to see how high I can take them from sort of previous seasons at the club.
And of course, you've still got the Vars Cup coming up as well. We'll get onto that very shortly. So you got the Challenge Cup coming up. You've still got the league as well. So Suffolk Cup as well. So you've still got challenges to come about, haven't you? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, the Kirkley don't really have any expectation. I think when you look at what happened in the summer there, obviously Herbie, who was a club legend, and he done really well as a captain and as a manager. He obviously left, and a lot of the experienced players kind of went with him. And again, that there's 2 ways that can go. You can either see the club completely kind of struggle because their experience has gone, or you're looking for a reaction of the players that are still there and sort of saying, well, actually, now's your chance to shine. No matter what your age is, you're going to get chances now, and it's up to you to take them. And like I say, the reality is with Kirkley, the budget isn't massive. I would probably guess it's probably the smallest in the league. So I've not gone out and been able to sort of attract. I mean, it's interesting. The Dereham supporter a second ago spoke about your Jamie Norths and your Robbie Sweeneys. Obviously, they're players that I had at Galston, so I know the quality of them. I haven't got the budget to look at them sort of players. So actually, it's more, well, what have we got here that can progress? What I like about Kirkley is it's a lot like Galston when we were there. There's people that have been at the club for a long time that care about the club, and for me, you don't need a big budget when you've got people that care about a club. If they really want to work hard and they really want to put it in, there's no doubt there's quality there. So yes, money takes over a little bit in football, but for this project, for what I'm trying to build at Kirkley, money isn't why I'm there, and it's certainly not there to bring in players. So it's more, right, this is what we've got, and how much do you want to progress with the club.
Yeah, definitely. So do you like my lovely new graphic and new bits? I know it's live. Of course, we're doing it on camera. So trying something different. So everyone's doing something different. So, we try something different. So I'm sorry if any of the scores are wrong. Hopefully they're not. I like the Dereham one, whereas one is wrong. Sorry. But hopefully you're enjoying the show when you're watching it. And with the 5 games, are you quite happy for what has happened so far?
The only game that leaves a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, I have to say, is the Norwich United defeat. Not just because it was a defeat, more because actually we had the chances in the first half to be well out of sight. And that was kind of, I said to the lads after the game, I like to think this it's a completely different change at Kirkley. Like, we've played against Kirkley for years at Galston, and what sort of side you're getting at Kirkley. You know what the challenge is. You know how they're going to play. I've gone in there, and along with John, who's assisting me, and Buzz, who's the coach, we've gone in and we've tried to change things. We're trying to make it more of a football side, get the ball down, can we play? And some of them aren't used to that. And one of the biggest issues I think that Kirkley have had for many, many years is putting the ball in the back of the net. So that's a big challenge. Strikers are gold dust. I've been very lucky in the past with the ones I have had. They're gold dust at Kirkley, and they have some good strikers, but they're young. They've got to be brought through right. And the Norwich United game, it was more about actually your desire to score a goal.
Yeah.
I counted 7 times we put the ball across the front of the goal in the 6-yard box, where an experienced, good, real hungry centre striker, he's having a hat-trick all day long. And I don't feel we show the desire to go and get a result. I think we just went through the motions. So that was the only game really that I've left disappointed, just with our performance, not so much the result. But other than that, the lads reacted to it. They've knuckled down. They're changing the way that we're playing. They've all bought into it. I think there has been a lot of changes in my expectations and what I want. So, whether the committee have an expectation to win the league or not, they certainly don't at Kirkley. But actually, my expectation, I love winning trophies. I love winning games, and actually, they need a winning mentality. So there is a change, and they are buying into it. And I have been proud of the way they've done. I mean, the biggest result there for me was the actual draw at Woodbridge. Yeah, I think on the Saturday they obviously took Dereham apart. Yeah, and I had a good conversation with Robbie Sweeney after that. And that we went there, and if I'm completely honest, I don't think anyone, if you gave everyone a tenner and said, right, you back into that night, what's the result? I'm sure that every single person would have said a Woodbridge win after the Saturday, what they done to Dereham. Yeah. And we went there and we were outstanding. They scored early doors, which they did against Dereham, and you've got 2 choices then. You either fold or you roll your sleeves up and you have to get back into it. And with 10 minutes left, we were 2-1 up. Unfortunately, a defensive error cost us. But that is the game where actually I said to him, you've set the standards now. You've come to a team that no one gave you any chance of winning. Woodbridge probably fancied an easy ride. And actually, you've got a result which could have been 3 points. But you've now set the bar. So even though the other games have been wins, I think actually it's the draw that I look at and say, right, that's where you've set the standards. Yeah. So like I say, I can't fault what the lads have done. Like I say, it has been a tough couple of weeks at Kirkley as well, as I'm sure you've seen. There was a sad passing of somebody who was very close to everyone at the club. His 3 boys play for the club, and sadly he passed away last weekend. So it's been a tough time, and the Woodbridge game was the first game after that. So like I say, what the boys have done, the knuckling, the getting round to each other, the togetherness, I can see is there. Like I say, there's just a few things on the pitch we want to change and tweak. But yeah, I'm confident that we'll have success.
Of course, then you beat Ely City in the FA Cup, which is a good. I know at the bottom it says FAV, but it's meant to be FA Cup. It's meant to be Whitton Town at home. How was that game for you last Saturday?
If I'm honest, very, very good first half. And I've made a deal with the players. I've said to them, right, actually, if you win a game, after the game, you can just go cool down amongst yourselves, and you can get in the bar and you can enjoy yourselves. Yeah. If you lose or draw, then I'm getting you in after the game on the pitch, and we're going to have a debrief about it. So if you don't want to hear my voice and you don't want to listen to me, then you need to win the game. So they did win that game. However, Tuesday night, I shocked them at training because I did call them in the change room, because first half we were very good. We went in at 2-0, could have been more. We dominated the game. It was a good performance. Second half, we just didn't turn up. We went out. I think we thought the game was done. They scored quite early. And if I'm honest, we hung on a little bit. Yeah. So I think, like I say, the game for me, yes, I really enjoyed the first half, but second half, it was painful. It was one of them ones where 10 minutes left, I'm thinking we're still going out, because we just didn't really turn up second half. But cup football, as we know, is about winning. It's about getting in the next round. And I say to them every week, you've got 90 minutes in this game. I don't care how you win the game, but you need to find a way to do it. So if you play poor and you win 2-1, I'll take it. Of course I will. But actually, let's have a chat about what we could do better. But the main thing is winning games. So, yeah, as much as I left disappointed with the second half, reality is if someone said to me that's how the game's going to go, would you take it? And you'd snap their hand off. So yeah, I think it's nice for the club. I think it's the furthest they've been in about 7-8 years.
Wow.
So, we've got to take a lot of positives from it.
You certainly do. And is that the same mentality for Saturday's game against Heacham as well?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, excuse me, I think the biggest thing about Heacham, is the complacency. I think a lot like what Dereham are facing tomorrow night. When you've already been somewhere and won the game, whether you deserve to, whether you played well, whether they could have won, whatever the circumstance was, reality is you've won that game already. I think the biggest thing that can kill you on the day or the night is complacency if you've recently been there. So for my lads, it is a case of going there and not being complacent, not thinking actually we've already been here and got 3 points this season. It's going there and thinking we've got 3 points. They're going to be hungry to put that right, and we've got to turn up with the right attitude. So yeah, it's no different to any other week. I expect them to turn up. The gimmies in football, the working hard and all that's an expectation that we don't even have to talk about. But I think complacency, taking the foot off the gas and things like that are things that we need to guard against come Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. And how about Harleston Town and Whittam Town? How do you feel those games are going? Or will you just take it one step at a time?
Yeah, if I'm honest, I haven't even looked at them. I haven't even thought about it. As you asked me, I'll have a quick think now. But yeah, Harleston, obviously, they've Crowe's assembled a very good side. It's just Liam Jackson and Hendo over there as well are obviously two players that I had at Galston, very talented players. They don't need me to tell them that. Liam knows where the goal is. But they've got an all-round very strong squad with a manager who knows the game, done really well since he's gone in. So it's going to be a tough game. It's another game probably like Woodbridge where people are expecting them to turn over Kirkley. And as I said at the start, that's the sort of challenge I'm liking because it's a different one to what I'm used to. Because obviously, the last time I was in management, it was probably people expecting Galston to win every game, whereas now it's actually you're going into a lot of it as an underdog. So what can you do? Mm-hmm. And it's the same as Whittam Town as well. I mean, they're step 4. They've been in there for a little while. But again, it's another home draw. If I'm honest, my mentality is I fancy ourselves. There's nothing to be worried about. It's a game of football. If we work harder than them, then I fancy it. And again, it's just making sure that, the lads are up for it. It's an FA Cup game. You've got a chance to get through to another round. Again, it's something for them to enjoy and look forward to. So, I'm not blinded by the fact I don't expect Kirkley to win trophies this year, but actually let's get noticed. And I think we are being noticed at the moment. And cup runs and results like Woodbridge and that will get you noticed. And I think this season is about actually can we get noticed and then look to build for trophies going forward.
Exactly, definitely. Darryl, you got anything to add onto that?
I was just going to say it's been really nice to see you start the season so well, and I was just going to ask. You mentioned about Kirkley having the smallest budget or one of the smallest budgets. What does that do if you keep progressing through the FA Cup rounds? How much does that mean to a club like the size of Kirkley?
Excuse me. I think it's massive. I think. Again, like all the clubs, like everyone at Galston, everyone at Dereham, and you can go right through the clubs. What the volunteers do, what the chairmans do, what they put into it, and the sponsorships they have to try and find, and they all work really hard. And I've always been very very thankful for what they do in the clubs I've been at, but actually very respectful to all clubs that have volunteers and even people like yourselves that do things like this. So I think for the club to then get the money that they get when you win these games, I think it's massive because it just takes that little bit of pressure off certain areas. So yeah, I mean, from a manager's point of view, I know a lot of people say, the FA Cup, well, you're not going to win it. So if you go out of it, you're not going to win it. Of course, you're not going to win it. But reality is actually financially, the further you get, the more you get noticed, the more you get talked about, the more people start coming through the gate because they'll look and go, well, actually, look what they're doing there. But also, obviously, the funds you get from winning just make certain areas of the club a lot easier. Not necessarily on the pitch. Like what we get in the FA Cup and Vars isn't going to go into my budget. My budget isn't going to change, but actually, what they need to pay for whatever it is to run the club, actually, that's massive. So yeah, like I say, I think from a club point of view, it's been big that we've won two rounds in the FA Cup, and hopefully Vars Saturday and the FA Cup next week we can go a bit further.
Yeah, certainly hope you do.
Well, Scott, I wish you all the best for Saturday and for the coming weeks. And hopefully we'll get you on again. And you never know, I might see you out at football ground soon.
I look forward to it, mate. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Cheers for that. Speak to
All
you
right,
soon.
take care. Cheers, Darryl.
Cheers,
Take care.
Darryl.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that was Scott Butler for Kirkland Paintfield. So, what do you feel about that then, Darryl?
Yeah, spoke really well, didn't he? Very happy with the start of the season. He was right, I think, to pick out the draw at Woodbridge as the key result, especially after how they beat Dereham. So yeah, that result surprised me, as I'm sure it did many others.
Yeah, definitely. Good evening to everyone who's watching this show. Sorry, I haven't really spoke to you guys. So like Paul was just said about chaining the kids up, Lee. Yeah, I should really do that. Rob, I believe that Rob Stevens spoke to you at the Dereham Town game.
Yeah, so Tuesday night, I was
There you go.
approached by Rob, and yeah, I'd never met him before, but he came up and said, I was the podcast man, and he very much enjoys what we do. So.
Excellent. I'm glad you enjoyed it, even with my kids running around, and you never know what's going to happen on a live show. So should we get to some fixtures for this week? Vars, if I can find them.
The Vars.
Should we do the Vars? Oh, there we go. Look at that. It's worked straight away. Brilliant. Happy days. So on Friday, tomorrow evening, we've got Stansted versus Hadley United. We've got Thetford Town versus Harleston Town. We've got West Essex versus Harrington Puxton. Watch of the Widows, of course, against Dereham Town. So, how do you feel these games are going to go, Darryl?
Well, I've noticed by doing this that there seems to be a lot of Friday football at the moment, which is good to see as well.
This is really good.
Teams are getting into the Friday.
I was going to say, good evening, Rob. Thank you very much for coming back. See, brilliant. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
But
I love the Friday nights. It's pretty good, is it? Friday, Tuesday nights, even the Saturdays one, even so, it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, you got a full weekend there, haven't you? You got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But the Friday ones, obviously, Thetford's a big game.
Yep. Fine.
That's hard to call because Harleston have got a fantastic team.
Yeah, both of them have.
Dereham should win at Walsham and Willows, but as Greg said, you can't take them lightly. Yeah.
Especially with a cup fever. Is it extra time or is it just?
I believe the Vars is straight to penalties, but someone will comment, I'm sure, if I've said that wrong.
Well, we'll find out in a second if you have. It's only me who does the wrong thing. Cy Harridge, he was actually going to be on this evening. I know he's at work, but good evening to you, Cy. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, big game for him. I feel that they could do it against West Essex. I know they lost during the week in the FA Cup. But yeah, I feel they can do it, even if it's a penalties, really. So why not?
Indeed, you've only got to keep it level, haven't you?
Exactly, and of course, then the last season's fixture 5-3. I take that as to West Essex there, but you never know. We'll see what happens. I do have some highlights coming up as well. So for Saturday's games, Eton SoCon versus Solent Town Rangers. Never heard of them. Sorry, Eton. Ely City against Mildenhall Town. Sorry, I'm being honest. Heathrow versus Kirkland Paper. We just spoke to Scott about them. Newmarket Town versus Woodbridge Town.
That's a fantastic game, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that could go to penalties.
That's a good game. You wouldn't like to call that one because both two very good sides.
Yeah, I know Newmarket have slightly folded a little bit. I know they've had cup runs and stuff going there, but I'm hoping they can bounce back on Saturday with that game. But you never know with Woodbridge. Woodbridge are a decent side as well, aren't they?
Yeah, Newmarket, they'll fancy themselves on their home pitch, obviously. But
definitely with their 4G pitch, 3G pitch, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a good advantage for them against anybody. So we'll see how it goes.
Wivenhoe Town versus Brantham Athletic. How do you think that's going to go?
Oh, I don't know much about Wivenhoe.
they're a North Division side, so they're step 6?
Step 6. So yeah, but Brantham will obviously go into it favourite, but that could be an upset.
You never know. We'll find out from Brantford fans. If you're watching, get involved. Framingham Town versus Huntingdon Town. I think Framingham are doing so much well in the North Division. I think they're top at the moment. I know they lost to Stanway Pegasus 2-1 last week. So I do have highlights of their game on Wednesday against Whitton United, where they win 1-3-0, I believe. So let's see. Our friends from Great Yarmouth Town, they're at home to Histon. That's going to be an interesting game, isn't it?
Yeah, and I believe the Great Yarmouth support is getting bigger and bigger all the time. I think they had 160 at the Wellesley last night.
Yeah, 150, 160, I think it was. But
fantastic. They're a club to watch on the rise, definitely.
Definitely. They should make playoffs, I think.
Sorry?
They should make the playoffs, really.
I hope so.
Hopefully. Get it back into the Prem, but you never know what's going to happen in the Prem, do we?
We don't.
So you've got Newark Town against Holwich United. Holwich United, I think they're in the Thurlow North, aren't they? So we'll see what happens with them. Then you've got Norwich CBS against Distown. Distown have had some decent results so far, haven't they?
Yeah, and CBS not a great start, so this will fancy that. Definitely.
Yeah, as we were saying about Stanway Pegasus, they're playing Haverhill Borough. I feel they're gonna win that one. Stanway.
Yeah, should do.
And of course we've got a Sunday game for a change. A Norfolk derby between Downham Town versus Swaffham Town. So if anyone's free on a Sunday, get down to Downham Town. Of course, they're the newcomers for the third non-prem. Of course, Swaffham Town got relegated last season, didn't they, from the Thurlow Prem? So,
yeah. And if anybody knows why that's Sunday, let us know as well.
Exactly, and we'll see what happens. So that's the Vars games. Is anyone going to any Vars games this week? Of course, I'm going to the Thetford Town Harleston. I think Paul Dale's going to go to Thetford. Darryl, are you going to Walsham?
I'm not actually. I'm not going.
You're not going?
Sorry.
Dude, for the show. Try and get people who go to the games, but where are you going on Saturday? Tell the viewers.
Wimbledon.
Yeah. There you go, Wimbledon. There you go. All right, okay, fair enough. All right, what have we got on here? Yes, so we've got some more fixtures for Saturday. No Sundays, of course. In the Thurlow Nunn Premier Division, you've got Longmouth, a trip to Lakenheath, Mulbarton Wanderers against Sheringham, of course, Norwich United against Fakenham Town.
Yeah, Mulbarton and Sheringham played each other a couple of weeks ago in the FA Cup, so Sheringham will be out for some revenge there.
Because they beat Brantford Athletic 3-2, didn't they, at the weekend, didn't they? So that'd be a good game to go and watch.
And apparently Norwich United have got some new signings to announce tomorrow. So
have indeed. So that'd be an interesting game against Fakenham as well. So Lakenheath are doing really, really well as well, winning 4-0 against Walsham the Willows during the week. And Long Melford, bit stuttering a bit, had a couple of defeats now, so they'll be looking to get back onto form, aren't they?
They will, yeah. Because I think Lakenheath will fancy that at home, but you never know with Long Melford. They've got the habit of turning up the odd result.
Yeah, definitely. And then, of course, we go to the North fixtures. Do you know any of the North teams in there?
Do I know them? I know a few of them. Dussendale and Helston have had a good start to the season.
They have. They're playing. They'll be at Leiston away, so that'll be a good test for them.
A fantastic game, that.
You got AFC Sudbury Reserves versus Indian Market under 23s. That's going to be a corker game, I think.
Two reserve sides.
Yeah, so you never know what's going to happen with a step 4 and a step 3 team. So who knows? Then you got Collingwood United versus FC Parkinson Drove.
Hard to call that one, I think.
Maybe draw that one. Sorry, people. Haverhill Rovers versus FC Peterborough. Of course, Haverhill got a new manager, haven't they?
Well, I don't actually know about that. You'll tell us.
Really? Oh, I thought you were a 309 man, you see?
You'll tell us who that is, because that's news to me.
Former Lake and Heath manager.
I don't actually know, sorry.
Ben.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Got it.
God. Are you sure? Jesus, man. Oh, I thought you'd done this research, no?
Well, this wasn't in the pre-show.
Well, I'm just telling you what's happening. Anyway, so that's his first game of the season, I believe. So he's.
I hope he wins it.
So do I, actually. Hopefully for your sake. Well, anyway.
Can we get him on next week?
I'll try. They're going to be available. Anyway, so we get some fixtures, results on Tuesday night for the 309 Premier Division. Oh, my God. So, as I say, Brantham Athletic 2, Long Melford 1, Fakenham 4, Heacham 1, Had United 2, Newmarket Town 1. As I was saying, Lake and Heath 4-0 winners at Walsh and the Willows. So, how do you think about those games there, Daryl?
Important wins for Brantham and Hadley.
Yeah.
That's a good win against Newmarket at home.
Yeah. They were 2-0 up for that, and then of course Newmarket then scored, but then just couldn't get an equaliser, unfortunately.
Fakenham, good result. They're on a bit of form at the moment with their good FA Cup run. Although they've got Hornchurch in the next rounds.
I believe so.
Which will be a tough one if they get through that. It'll be very impressive.
So, do you want to see some? I've got some footage anyway from the FA Cup. Do you want to see some? Let's see what we've got, shall we? Where should we start? Or should we do the Sheringham game? Sheringham game?
Sheringham.
Brantham versus Sheringham. This is only the Sheringham goals. So, thank you very much for Sheringham for letting me use this. But you can see them on their YouTube channel. So, take it away. Say that was from Sheringham FC YouTube channel. Thanks very much for the guys over there for letting me use it. How do you think about that?
Good footage.
Certainly is. Also, the other co-host who's not here, Mr. Dan Jones, of course, he was at Yarmouth versus Diss last night. Shall we have a quick look at those two goals?
Let's do it.
Wait till the end. You'll enjoy this.
Diss with a free kick in, headed away, and Diss could have a brilliant chance. Just going for it, and it's in! Diss have taken the lead. And Diss are 1-0 up. It's crossed in for Yarmouth, great back! Yes! Yarmouth has scored in the last minute! Yarmouth has scored in the last minute! I don't believe it! Oh my goodness! Yarmouth have got one back in the last minute! Oh my goodness! My goodness! I don't believe it! Oh crossed in for Yarmouth. Graham back. Yes! Yarmouth has scored in the last minute. Yarmouth has scored in the last minute. I don't believe it. Oh my goodness. Yarmouth have got one back in the last minute. Oh my goodness. My goodness. I don't believe
Yeah, that's the second replay of that one. I think he's lost his voice after that, I think.
Yeah,
Mr. Jones?
I love the commentary as well. That's
Yes.
a bonus.
I bet his voice is killing him after. But with that, he's actually off to Great Yarmouth versus Heston in the Vars Cup on Saturday. So expect some highlights from him.
No, Yarmouth win, hopefully.
Well, he might lose his voice after that. So hopefully, hopefully he might. Like I am now.
I hope it goes to penalties, so he has to commentate on every penalty.
No, you don't want to do that. That's just harsh.
And then Ruben will make a heroic save to get them through.
But the thing is, with the intro, I don't know if you saw it last time, but someone actually scored a corker against him. So I don't think he's very happy with Dan. Of course, with Durham Town as well, sending him down with that goal.
That's twice Greg's told you off about that now. You need to
That's
stop
not,
that.
that's not my fault. Come on. So comments on below. If you think it's my fault, just blame Dan.
But I thought it was your show.
Yeah, so look at that. Ruben, I love you, Daryl. Oh, what? Come on. I'm doing the show. Whatever.
So this is
Good evening, Ruben. How are you? Hope you're doing well.
maybe it's my show now.
See you later. Go on in. Off you go. Go on in. Go on in. What are you going to do then?
What's next?
That's up to you now.
It's your show.
Is it my show or your show?
Well, Ruben loves me.
I don't think so. Unlucky, sir. Never mind. Anyway, thanks very much for that. I appreciate that. Right, anyway, so we'll get some more. There we go.
Up the Yarmouth.
Up the Yarmouth.
We love Yarmouth. We love Yarmouth.
As I said about Dan Jones, he will be there on Saturday. Unfortunately, he's not here today because he's probably lost his voice and he's at work. So never mind. He'll be back on the old touch on it again. So up the boaters, yes, that's correct there. There we go. Friend of the show. Look at that. Anyway, I've got some more footage. Would you like to see Framingham Town versus Wickham United?
I'd love to.
This is Framingham Town's YouTube channel. I believe it was a guy called Josh who's doing the YouTube for them. Thanks very much for those guys to let me use their footage. So here we go. pretty good footage, wasn't it?
Yeah, love that. Great footage.
Well done to Josh. Well done to Framingham Town there. See, we'll get myself back on the screen there. Yeah, so really, really well done. Really good. Who else will we have? It's Mr. Oliver has just put UTS on there. There we go. Ruben, as I say, UTB. So not bad, is it? Do you want some more FA Cup ones?
We'd love that. Let's
Who
do
would
it.
you like to do? Well, we've got Grace, or we've got Haybridge. He's direct. Oh, how about James Beardwell with Whittam Town versus Stanway Rovers? How about that? Should we do that?
Let's get him on.
Let's get James on. Here we go.
If not, I can ring you from the game.
Finish it! Yes! 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 Come on! Come on! Yes! Yes! Come on! Get in! Come on! Yes! Yes! Come on! Yes! 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 Come on! Yes! Get in there! Come on! Yes! Yes! Yes, Morley! Go on! Yes! 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 Yeah! Yes! 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 Come on! Yes! Yes!
Good 3 goals there from Whittam Town versus Stanway Rovers.
Yeah, great scenes. Nice to see. James has got a lot of friends with him at the games.
Yeah, of course he does a lot of interviews as well, which is really good for him. So
You should try and see if he's free on a Thursday night.
I need to get on the phone, don't I? So who do I need to get on? So I need to get James on. I need to get on who else? 2 others?
Yeah, get them all on.
Get them all on.
Look, James would be a fantastic guest to have around that.
Video.
Yeah.
I can't have everything. It's not my fault. I
Oh.
try my best. I try my best to get all these people in to try and do it, but these things happen. So we're nearly out of time, I think. We're coming up for an hour session. My
Wow.
God,
It flies by.
it's definitely flying by today. So of course you're not going to a game tomorrow. Tomorrow, are you?
I'm not. You are though. You're at Thetford.
Of course I am. Guess what we're going to do? Boom. Here's the graphic coming up. Come on. There
Wow.
we go.
I teed that up well.
Smashing. Look at that. You did. You did. You know, like a smashing that was. You can join me from 7:45 on Twitter at LSimons82 for any goal highlights we should go in. However, I am going to try something different on my actual YouTube channel. So watch out for that. If you've seen it on the Twitter page so far, hope you enjoyed the little graphics which I'm going to put onto the actual videos. It may take a little bit more time to do, but we'll see what will happen. But yeah, I'm going to Thetford Town versus Halston Town tomorrow evening at Mumford Road. Hopefully, there's going to be 400 people there tomorrow because the last game, what we did against Newmarket Town, there was 388 people there.
Wow.
That's amazing. That is really for a Friday night game. Of course, got the Saturday and Sunday to do, isn't it? Bank holiday? Is it bank holiday?
You've got Isthmian League fixtures on Monday.
Yes, you have got some really good ties coming up, but I haven't.
And National League. Kings Lynn are at home on Monday.
So if you're in the Norfolk area, Kingston Town are at home. So yeah, but
On Monday.
On Monday, but you're going to Wimbledon, aren't you?
On Saturday and then
Monday?
we've got nothing on Monday. Thurlow none Tuesday, possibly.
Tuesday.
We've got Tuesday games next week. Norwich United Mulbarton is a good one.
Can have a look. Sorry.
He's not ready. He's not got them.
You just put this on to me, and I haven't got them. It's just shocking. Sorry.
Although you did have some, because on your Kirkley graphic, you had their trip to where they going? Halston, aren't they?
Halston, yes.
So you can give Scott Butler all the info after you've watched them tomorrow night.
Okay, can't I? Scott, if you want it, you've got my highlights. What date was it?
29th.
Oh, yes. So you've got Halston Town versus Kirkley and Paintfield. Milton Town are at home against Selwyn Town Rangers. It's Norwich United versus Mulbarton. You going to that?
Yes, I think I am, yes. Good
Sure?
game.
Sure?
Yeah, and I hope they both win.
And of course, you've got Woodbridge Town versus Brantham Athletic, and then, of course, it's in September, where I'm not doing graphics yet for that. So, there you go. But hopefully, we'll be there next week. So, David, got anything else to say?
I hope there's 400 people at Thetford tomorrow night.
Well,
Otherwise, you'll be very sad.
No, I won't be very sad. I'll just be going to the game, and hopefully, hopefully, we can see a Town win. I'm not saying what town, am I?
No, yeah, Thetford are going to win. You're going to do your highlights, and Todd Ray's going to do all the updates. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great night for Thetford, I'm sure.
Let's hope so. But thank you very much, Daryl, and thank you very much for everyone who's been watching. Hope you enjoyed the highlights. Hope you enjoyed the guests. I'd like to thank, of course, Daryl, who's been joining me today.
Thanks, mate.
Greg Bell from Deering Town, and of course, Scott Butler, who's at Kirkley and Paintfield for the first team manager. So hopefully we'll see you next week.
You will.
Yes, perfect. So we'll see you again. See you soon. Cheers.